Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Wealth Wednesday. It is me, Jeremiah Ramirez. It is a pleasure to be here with you guys. Last week, you got a dose of just Chris. It was a fantastic show. This week, you're just going to get a single dose of me, right? We always have to make sure to be consistent. We always have to make sure to bring you guys every single week a new episode, new information, new data to tackle, and new ways to, get your mind moving in the space of entrepreneurship and business, especially in regards to us, Latinos. Now, if you guys watch this show, first and foremost, we want to tell you thank you. We appreciate you. Do us a favor. If you feel like anyone could get value or learn something from the topics that we cover, I want you to subscribe, like, and share. Please share this with all of your friends and family. Make sure that they can come and join the Latin World family, okay? All right, guys. Now, if you watch this show on a weekly basis, then myself and Chris, we're both very proud of what equal, right? We just had the Puerto Rican Day Parade. It was phenomenal in New York. New York was set ablaze. Everybody loves when the parade comes through, right? Super proud of our heritage. But we also want to show a lot of love to our cousins to the west, right? The Dominican Republic. I always say this, they're like the country cousins of the Puerto Ricans, right? You Puerto Ricans in the city, and then the country cousins, are over here. That's the Dominicans. Fight like cats and dogs, but love each other, man. And you probably have seen in the most recent years, there's a lot of people that are half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, right? I mean, we're mixing together and we're having families. And, this is one of the things that I want to talk about, because in the Dominican Republic, what you start to hear, what you start to see is that, man, they've been growing at a phenomenal rate. Tourism is just through the roof. Number one place to travel in the Caribbean. And it may be the number one place to travel in the world. Most beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful area. Rainforest, man, everything that you would want in the Dominican Republic, right? Also in the business sector, we see construction, we see real estate development. We see just tons of businesses and external foreign investments dollars that are pouring into the Dominican Republic. And so for me, when I see their GDP growing, when I see, just over the top Dominican Republic is just climbing, right? Setting new trends, setting new marks of excellence. For me, I'm super happy. But there are those on the other side, right? There's always going to be two sides of the coin. So we have a group of us, like myself, Urban Teach, right? Good friend. I actually had held this conversation with her, and went kind of back and forth on this conversation. But there'll be people on our side who are obviously super excited about the progression of the Dominican Republic and how far it's going to go. And we just see it continuing to rise. We see more professionals, more entrepreneurs realizing that it is a key market. It's a great place to invest your money. So we believe that. And then you have the other side of the coin. People that say that, oh, the only reason why the Dominican Republic is growing is because there's drug trafficking, there's money laundering, blah, 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 right? And so you'll always have the negative people. But is it true? Which side is true, right? Is it a mix of both? Is it just one more than the other one? Well, first and foremost, we're going to go to some videos. We're going to review a couple of different, right? A couple of different stats, a couple of different mindsets. We'll move through that. But what we do want, hey guys, take the time, drop down in the comments, tell me what you think. Especially after watching this. But hey, before you even watch the videos, go now inside of the comments and let us know. What's your thoughts? What's your predictions? Do you think it's more drugs and money laundering and all that stuff? Or do you think it's actually hard work, entrepreneurs, and solid, legit growth? Let us know. With that being said, let's go ahead and share the screen, guys. I want to show a couple videos, get you guys to check out what is happening in the Dominican Republic. First person we're going to hear is going to be Humberto Salazar. Okay, this is his opinion.
La gente piensa que lo que produce riqueza en la República Dominicana, la gente piensa que es el turismo, la zona franca y la remesa. Chúpese ese cajuil. Mire, en la República Dominicana las principales áreas económicas son el narcotráfico, la corrupción y el lavado de activos, que quede claro. Sin esos tres, el progreso de la República Dominicana no se puede justificar con lo que nosotros estamos produciendo. No es cierto. El narcotráfico, el lavado de activos y la corrupción. Si no...
What Mr. Salas is saying is, man, it's a lie that people are believing currently, right? It's a lie that the business and the tourism and, the areas of tourism and the areas of the resorts and stuff, that's what's actually driving the growth inside of the Dominican Republic. He's saying it's lies. He's saying it's drug trafficking, money laundering, and the underworld dealings of what's going on inside, and also government corruption. So basically, he's saying, man, these numbers are fake. Okay, you guys cannot believe these numbers. It's not real. What's actually happening right now is, hey, there's a whole bunch of money that's being moved in different people's hands. They're making up fake numbers. And so the stuff that you see, let's be honest, we're not producing that stuff. Like, how do you justify the numbers that you see with what we produce out of Dominican Republic? I mean, and he makes some valid points. There needs to be justification or correlation between what's produced inside the Dominican Republic and into the GDP that's growing like crazy, right? So this is the bad side. This is the bad opinion. And there's other people that share his opinion. Hey, there's a woman over here. If we look inside the comments, Mingva, she says, se tenía que decir y se dijo. It had to be said, and you said it, right? So somebody saying, hey, if you see, and then you see another comment, and it says, por fin, hágame dar la razón. Todos los bancos desempleados están en eso. So basically, hey, the banks aren't doing well. They're laying people off. This is the reason. So the real reason is that it's narco-trafficking money. It's all fake money moving the way it's not supposed to be moving, right? All right, that's the bad, right? We got one side of the coin. Let's go to the other side of the coin. Let's go to the good. And by the way, this is the side that I more lean to. Urban Teach. Matter of fact, thank her for providing this, video. But this is the side that I'm in, and I want you guys to listen and just see what your opinion is.
Timberland Cardinal Health World Emblem, the largest maker of patches for clothing, is opening their new facility next year, breaking ground this year. And really, this is an island that is known for its beaches and tourism, but it has a huge manufacturing sector. In 2024 alone, the foreign investment into the country grew by 7.1%. 41% of all foreign investment in Central America was in the Dominican Republic. And 20% of that investment was in the manufacturing sector, just behind tourism. Because why are companies building there? Well, there's something called free zones. Essentially, these are kind of tax havens. There's tons of tax exemptions, mainly on income tax, local taxes, export taxes. That can save companies millions of dollars. Also, tax savings for the U.S., it takes just a few days to get products on these cargo vessels. So for the United States, instead of from Asia, it's weeks and wages. According to one company, wages are about 30% lower than what it would cost even in Mexico. We have Timberland Cardinal Health World.
So what do you have there? What you have in that video is you have someone explaining all the dollars that came into Central America were actually placed into the Dominican Republic. And 20% of that was placed into manufacturing. You saw a couple of the companies there, Enon, you saw Timberland. These are factories that are there. This is actual business and the structure for entrepreneurship. They talked about the free zones, right? So where you can actually bring your business and experience, tax displacement or tax mitigation, right? Taxes off of wages, taxes off of investing dollars. This is very important to bring money into the Dominican Republic. And it's something that I believe, just based on the numbers and what we've seen a lot of foreign money that's coming into the Dominican Republic. And it's because it's a great place. It's a great place to invest your money. You see Americans, you see Chinese, you see multiple different countries that are investing their dollars into the Dominican Republic. So I want to talk about some stats because you saw the 41% then, and 20% of that was going into manufacturing. So let's talk about it. So the key growth drivers for the Dominican Republic. All right. Um, it has a growth rate right now of 5.1% in its GDP in 2024. And right now, year to date, it's already grown 4.7% already in 2025. Okay, which means it's going to surpass that 5.1 that it did in 2024. These are real numbers. So the growth drivers behind these, okay? Number one is tourism. The tourism sector is a major contributor to the economy with over 11.1 million tourist arrivals in 2024, making it a 48% increase compared to 2019. This sector alone is projected to generate around $10.7 billion in revenue. Why are we comparing pre-2019? Because obviously, guys, during COVID, there wasn't a whole bunch of traveling. And so a lot of the hospitality, the resorts and those things, they suffered greatly. But now that that's been opened back up, you see those numbers surging, and Dominican Republic is at the top of that. Number two, foreign direct investment, FDI, right? Okay. FDI is projected to reach $4.5 billion with a B in 2024, reflecting a 2.7% year-on-year growth over that year, right? The government is implementing reforms to enhance investment climate, which is crucial to sustaining economic growth. Okay, so they're actually saying, bring your dollars. We talked about in Puerto Rico, Act 60, right? So the Dominican Republic has their own version of that. And so they're telling you, hey, bring your investment dollars. This is a great place for you to invest, great place to make profits, okay? Number three, remittances. Remittances from Dominicans living abroad also play a vital role, contributing to approximately $10.7 billion in the economy. And then number four is sectoral contribution. So the services sector, particularly tourism, finance, and telecommunications, remain the most important part of the economy. Additionally, mining activities, especially in the ferro-nickel and gold production, are expected to grow. They are finding gold ores in the Dominican Republic, okay? Puerto Rico wasn't called Puerto Rico for no reason. It was a rich port, right? Dominican Republic's right there. You're looking at islands that have an immense amount of resources, and people are starting to find that out now. Rare precious metals and things of that nature that go into the raw materials of building everything that we use in our world today. And so as the Dominican Republic starts to explore more of that and are able to utilize that, it's just going to make them stronger, a stronger economy. And by the way, shouts out to the Dominican Republic because the one thing that they have that we do not have in Puerto Rico is their independence, right? They gained their independence, they fought for it, they earned it, and they've been doing a phenomenal job of being a country that's growing and leading and showing as a role model in the Caribbean how to be independent and how to do it well. Okay. Now, this is what I will say. If we were looking at the Dominican Republic or places that you would want to go in the different places all over the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic for me would be the number one place that I would look to invest. Not only does it have the infrastructure and the actual government standings and the things that it's easily accessible, right, from America, but the infrastructure is strong, right? Communications is strong. I don't have to worry about if I go there or my business is there and they don't have electricity. Yeah, the Caribbean obviously has their issues, right? We've talked about it several times with Puerto Rico, but it's strong, right? I would say that that's number one. I would say number two, obviously the language. So they speak Spanish there. No language barrier for us. Very, very solid. Um, and the third thing that I would say is the emerging sectors of business or the emerging pieces of industry or sectors of industry that you can put your money into. Gold is used in everything. As we start to see more AI that's starting to kick up, right? You're going to need all sorts of precious metals because those are a part of the servers and the computing that's necessary to keep that AI running. And so what it is you start to look at places like the Dominican Republic where you have, the beginnings or the building blocks of making tech hubs. And so these are just a couple of things I think about if I was looking to put money in a foreign place. That's just me. My number one place when it comes to foreign money outside of Puerto Rico, obviously, because that's not foreign for me, right? But the number one place for me would be in the Dominican Republic. But what's your opinion? Have you seen some things in Costa Rica? I've heard about them, right? Is it Panama, right? What do you think about the Dominican Republic and the strength of their economy? Do you believe it has direct ties to narco trafficking, right? Drug trafficking and the underworld? Or do you believe that people are working hard? There's entrepreneurs that come in, they have a plan, they're attracting businesses, tourism is surging. What do you believe? We want to hear from you guys. So, guys, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. I'm going to come through and we actually do read them. Chris is going to come through and we're going to read them. And we look forward to hearing from you guys. So, hey, guys, this has been Wealth Wednesday on Latin Wealth. Everybody have a good rest of the day and a good rest of the week. Peace, guys.